We're going to have to work like never before. We're going to have to work like our democracy is on the line, because it damn well is.
Right.
I don't.
It's actually pretty insane and hilarious as we go back into this flashback and we see how this thing played out. It really, y'all are going to enjoy today's video, I promise you.
So I take this as seriously all the time.
Let's interject one thing into this discussion about Trump that we've been having all night. It was a question I was going to ask you. We ran out of time.
Sure.
The Atlantic put out an article last year, and it was called "Separating Sports by Sex Doesn't Make Sense."
Right.
And talked about how we separate sports like the WNBA just because it's just socialization. This is insane.
I agree.
Okay. That's why people vote for Trump. Because there's stuff like that on the left that people just go, I know Trump's horrible, but separating sports by sex makes perfect sense. And if you think it doesn't, you can't lead the country.
But that's cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Okay. I'm just giving you the answer to the question you're asking all night long. Why do they vote for Donald Trump? It's not always because they like him. No, it's because stuff like that is kookier.
Trump says, how does that head fit on that neck? How does that head fit on that neck? But y'all remember this from 2019 when Bill Maher completely embarrassed him and called him out on the Russia hoax? Look, check this out.
But this was our big gun. Now it just looks like you're stalking him. I think in the eyes of the people who don't follow it that closely, which is most of the country, here's the thing about Bob Mueller. He's like the last person, maybe the last thing in America that left and right agreed on. Left and right basically agreed. This is a guy of honor. This is an honest guy. This is an honest broker. Whatever he says goes. Americans are not into details. Don't read it to me, Bob. Just give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. The fact that he was like, I don't. If you couldn't impeach before, how are you going to impeach after? Or should you?
Well,
were you?
And that's with all of the difficulties and all of the fake investigations and the Adam Shifty Schiffs. Can you believe this guy? He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. And the biggest head. We call him watermelon head. I'd say, how could that big fat face stand on a neck that looked like this finger? How can it? It was the weirdest thing. It's a mystery. Nobody can understand it. But he's one of the most dishonest human beings I've ever seen. And, you know, how we can allow people like that to run in office is a shame, but we did. He was in charge of the witch hunt, you know. He was in charge of the fake witch hunt with Russia. It was a made-up story. Made up. Think of it. They make up a story. They know it's made up. It's gone on for a year and a half, 2 years. Russia. I knew nothing about it. The only thing I knew was that I taxed the pipeline that I told you about, that I put all sorts of sanctions and everything else. They never had a problem like they had with me. But it was Russia, constant, as a method of, what they did is that was the complaint about why she lost an election, because crooked Hillary was expected to win the election. But they didn't see what we saw. We saw the biggest crowds in history gathering, only superseded by the crowds we just had.
Want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. When you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Oh boy, what's going on, family? This is going to be an amazing show, man. Even though we're going on a little bit of flashback, and it's crazy because I haven't even seen this. I haven't reacted to it. So this is going to be amazing, man. And it's actually crazy to see how everything is played out right now in 2025 and President Trump winning in a landslide, you know, and then going to meet President Trump at the White House, what Bill Maher just did, and he broke the internet, you know, even doing that, and, you know, for being a Trump deranged and showing that, you know, even if we disagree, and you said this about me, I've said this about you, that we can still come together, man, and unify. You know, that was a huge message, man. And even Trump signing the paper of all his insults he said on Bill Maher, and you know, now I think that signature, that paper will be worth millions of dollars. You know, and even you guys were saying that. But he went off in this segment of why we love Trump, of why people vote Trump. You know, and why some people see why the left, the far woke left, why Democrats and liberals, why people are just walking away from the party, lifelong Democrats, liberals. Why people are done with the Democrat Party, why people won't vote for a Democrat ever again. You know? So Bill Maher is finna go off, but it is pretty crazy to see how everything has played out, man, and where we are currently right now in 2025 with the Trump administration, man. And we are rooting for Trump, the Trump administration, with prayers for Trump and this administration, man. Prayers for America. I want to send my prayers and love to you guys as well, man. You know, we are living in some crazy dark times, man. You know, the fake news media can't tell the truth. You know, we are against a great evil. Can't tell the truth. They praise and love on illegal gang member, criminals, killers, rapists, murderers. I mean, it's crazy, man. No common sense. But this all goes back to why Trump won. You know, and even Bill Maher says that. And if you missed in our previous video, and our video went viral on Bill Maher twice. Both videos went viral this past month of him meeting with President Trump at the White House. And Bill Maher admits that he actually likes Trump. That wasn't the guy that he sees on TV or in, you know, he admits that it was an amazing dinner. Him, Kid Rock, Dana. I mean, it was, and again, we all predicted that it would go amazing. That Bill Maher would love President Trump. And that's what happened. And the liberals, the left, they're calling him a sellout now. They're calling him, you know, all kind of names and trying to cancel him because he went and did this. But it's showing a huge message, man. Because again, y'all, there's people that are watching this, that are part of this family on this channel. We've been drugged through the mud. MAGA conservatives, Trumpers have been dragged through the mud. Especially being a black conservative, a black Trumper. They call us all kind of names, C words, sellouts, Uncle Toms, Uncle Ruckus. You know, the black community calls us, you know, they cry white supremacy, the white man. You're bowing down to the white man. You're kissing the white man's feet. All kind of crap, man. You know, and it's all about violence with them. It's sick, man. The times that we are living in, man. It really is. I'm gonna go and throw this on the screen because I don't want to get my video. They take down my video. Bill Maher and his little team or copyright team. So we got to throw the logo on there. If you know, you know. But I definitely want to check out this full clip with Adam Schiff, pencil neck, Adam Schiff. They call him Finger Neck now. That's Trump's new name, Finger Neck. Stephen A. Smith and some other Seth fella. Yeah, so I want to check this full thing, y'all. I've never seen this full clip, so this is gonna be interesting, man. You know. Well, let's go and jump in. Enough. I didn't talk for 4 or 5 minutes. I apologize, y'all. They say, Rick, sir, you're talking so much, sir. Oh my goodness, sir.
All right, hi CNN. Here's our panel. He hosts ESPN's First Take and the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast. Stephen A. Smith is over here. And he's a comedian, writer, and producer whose new series, Ted, is streaming on Peacock. Seth MacFarlane is over here.
Okay, Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, Seth MacFarlane. Okay.
And the Democratic congressman from California, Adam Schiff. He's going to be the senator from California. Okay. All right, here's what people want to know. What are the
ran California into the ground?
Panel's thoughts on the jury awarding, this happened just before we went on the air, the jury awarding E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million in damages in her suit against Donald Trump. Donald Trump, What do we think? Not good, right?
This was the suit that he got threatened to be thrown out of several times, right?
Right.
Like, how toxic do you have to be where you're too rude to be on trial for sexual assault?
Right.
I think it's true justice. The only thing he cares about is himself and money, and going after the money is a way to bring about some real justice.
Do you think he did it?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Just, of course, you think he's done everything bad, and you know, to this day, they still can't tell us what he actually did. They can't tell us what crime he actually committed. Still to this day, you know.
You think he raped her and
It's just ever since he came on that elevator. They've told you they just want people to hate Trump. Ever since he came down that escalator, they just want you to hate Trump. And you see how he was loved by everybody. How he was loved by everybody. But as soon as he came down that elevator, man, real life. And I want to go back to what I said earlier, you know, of what we go through at being Trumpers, man, and conservatives, MAGA. You know, we've lost friends, relationships, childhood friends, family don't want to talk to us anymore. They don't want to invite us anymore to the events. They block our numbers, unfollow us. Again, like I said, I've shared stories, and I've gotten shared stories of people, you know, that literally broke down crying because their son won't talk to them anymore because they voted for Trump this past election. Their bloodline cut them off because they went out and voted because they think that this party just seems like common sense right now. That the left has went too far left. The lady up there, she don't know what the hell she talking about. Coconuts falling out the coconut tree. They walked around a dead corpse they didn't know who the hell was running the country. Then ran the country into the freaking ground. But yet the fake news media comes out and lie, and these Democrats come out and lie and say, well, you know what? It's all Trump's fault. They blame Trump for the last 12 out of 16 years. It's all Trump's fault. Before Trump even ran for president, it's still his fault. But Obama did that. No, it's still Trump's fault. These people are lunatics, man. But that's what we've been through, man. And y'all can feel that, you know, because I talked to a lot of y'all that have gone through the same thing. I've been through the same thing. And I love being on this side. And I love that we keep winning. It's been win after win after win. You know? Common sense is back, man. We actually know what a criminal is. And I'm ready to see Adam Shifty Schiff walked out in handcuffs. This is one of the ones on that list that needs to be walked out, made an example out of, held accountable. This fraud, liar, criminal crook needs to be walked out. And I know we're all waiting for that day. That they say, Rick, sir, he'll never be held accountable. They'll never hold him accountable, Rick. Don't get your hopes up, Rick.
Bergdorf Goodman?
Yeah.
You think he raped her in Bergdorf Goodman?
I have no idea. Here's what I will tell you. It means absolutely nothing. Doesn't mean a damn thing.
Right.
And I get tired of people trying to act like it. First of all, the man is running for president of the United States, and part of the reason he's running for it is because he's getting those campaign dollars so he can pick up the money to pay for his legal bills. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to lose any money. Secondly, it ain't going.
And it's crazy to see how he's saying all this, and now we see how Stephen A. Smith is now praising Trump. He's now saying, you know, his tone is very different now as well. Even with Bill Maher. It's crazy to see how these two talk completely different now. And he went to the White House and met President Trump, sat down, had dinner with him, cracked jokes, laughed, had a great time, toured the White House, and said, you know what? I actually like the man. Y'all can say what y'all want. Y'all can twist this however y'all want. But, you know, that night we had a really genuine, great night. And he even signed the paper of all the insults that he said about me. And now we've seen how Stephen A. Smith has come out. Inside jobs, January 6th. Oh, this was an inside job. Oh, this case doesn't add up. You know, well then, you know what? Maybe what really did Trump? What crime did Trump really commit? It looks like Democrats just didn't want him to be president again. And guess how that backfired? You know, and that's how Stephen A. Smith sounds and what he's saying. You know, and we know how he's a flip flopper and he wants to stand in the middle. He doesn't want to hurt anybody's toes, step on nobody's toes. You know. But it's crazy to go back into these flashback moments and clips, man. It's honestly amazing.
It'll be $83.3 million. He'll appeal it. It'll get knocked down. And I'm just getting tired of seeing so much stuff targeted in his direction, but somehow, some way, he still survives. I mean, we're talking about a situation where he's still going to be the GOP nominee. He's still going to be running for president. You're President Biden. That's the individual that you're going to have to beat. 4 indictments, 91 counts. They ain't even bringing up the bankruptcies, ain't even bringing up this particular issue with this civil case. And somehow, some way, he puts cats to shame because he clearly has more than 9 lives. I mean, come on.
You bring up the most perfect disparity between these two people. It's like he cares about himself, he cares about money, and you have Joe Biden, who put forth the Inflation Reduction Act, which contains climate provisions that are going to probably bear fruit long after he's gone. Mm-hmm. Long after he's gone.
Absolutely.
What does he have to gain by that? Nothing, except, God forbid I use the word altruism.
Yeah. Well, you know, look, I don't share your pessimism about this or your pessimism about the general election. The reason why Joe Biden is going to beat Donald Trump is because at the end of the day, America is going to want a president who is a decent human being.
This man really said the reason why Joe Biden is going to beat President Trump. Again, this was recorded right before he stepped down. Right before. Wow. Right before. Adam Shifty Schiff. They ought to ran California down into the ground. Wow. They ought to walk on set and they should have arrested him right there. I'm just saying, they should have arrested him.
Who doesn't shit on other people, who has
he shit on himself. Yeah, poop. They had to clean up so many poop stains in the White House. They had to do a whole remodeling, come in there and take all that crap out. Yeah,
has some interest in the American people, some interest in something beyond himself. I think at the end of the day, people are going to reject this bigoted, divisive figure. They're not going to want to put the country through 4 years of that.
They have every time except that one time. Yeah. No, really. I mean, he really lost every election except the 2016, and that, of course, he didn't really win that one either. I mean, he did not.
We know what happened. They say, Rick, don't say it again, sir. He won 3 elections. The man won 3 elections.
Not the popular vote.
Right.
And I also, you know, I don't know whether he did it, but I don't put anything past him. I also think Bergdorf should have better security.
Has there been any point in history in which, not to say it's a cult, but has there been any point in history in which the same candidate has been put forth 3 times in a row, 3 elections in a row by the same party?
3 elections, that's a great question.
3 elections in a row.
It could have happened with, who's the guy?
Teddy Roosevelt.
But I guess
Franklin Roosevelt won 4 elections in a row. So there you go.
Yeah, but you know, given the circumstances,
right?
What would the second? Well, there's always something going on in the country. You know? I mean, well, no, really, you can't do that. You can't be like, well, there's a war on. We have to stick with me. I mean, that doesn't work. It's a depression. Stick with me.
He lost the popular vote in both elections, but the bottom line is this: I respect the fact that you don't share my pessimism. I truly do. I understand where you're coming from. But I think that's part of the problem. I think the Democratic Party should share my pessimism. I think they should be on high alert. I think they need to treat him with the seriousness that it deserves, because you having a lot of faith in the American people. The man did get over 74 million votes. You've got people that are looking at Joe Biden. I'm not going to call him a cognitive mess or anything like that. That's very disrespectful. I would never speak about our president that way. But when you're 82 years of age, it's not offensive to say you're no longer a spring chicken and you don't seem to have the level of five and the energy that you want to have. And so you take that into consideration. You can't ignore the fact that this man is a threat.
Oh, make no mistake. I take him as serious as a heart attack.
Okay.
I'm optimistic, but we're going to have to fight tooth and nail. And one of the biggest obstacles we're going to have to overcome is all the efforts to prevent people from voting.
Okay.
We're going to have to turn out our people. We're going to have to work like never before. We're going to have to work like our democracy is on the line, because it damn well is.
Right.
And I take this as serious as a heart attack.
Let's interject one thing into this discussion about Trump that we've been having all night. It was a question I was going to ask you. We ran out of time.
Sure.
The Atlantic put out an article last year, and it was called "Separating Sports by Sex Doesn't Make Sense."
Right.
And talked about how we separate sports like the WNBA and the just because it's just socialization. This is insane.
I agree.
Okay. That's why people vote for Trump. Because there's stuff like that on the left that people just go, I know Trump's horrible, but separating by sports by sex makes perfect sense. And if you think it doesn't...
It's honestly crazy to hear this conversation, you know, after we've seen everything that's taken place, man. After the, you know, landslide, popular vote, mandate, every single swing state, man. You know, and seeing and what took place with these Democrats, this Kamala Harris lady, I don't know. You know, all of a sudden she's a black woman. You know, seeing a disastrous campaign, all these celebrities, paid actors. And then to come back and see this conversation, that they really had this conversation like this. It's crazy how it played out, man. Wow.
You can't leave the country.
That's cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Okay. I'm just giving you the answer to the question you're asking all night long. Why do they vote for Donald Trump? It's not always because they like him. No, it's because stuff like that is kookier to them.
People,
and there's lots of
It's kookier than trashing the Capitol? What the fuck?
Thinking, in a way it is. How is it? It's apples and oranges. It's apples and oranges. One is more evil, one is more horrible. But thinking that, I mean, what would happen if we combined the WNBA and the NBA?
No, please. LeBron would go from averaging 25 to averaging 70. Because half the team, I mean, you mix it up, and he'd hold the ball and create the mismatch and take advantage of the mismatch.
You're both right, and it's. I'm gonna tell you something. Like when you donate to the Democratic Party, which I have.
I mean, that was actually a great reference. You know, and it's sick that we still have that. You know, and we still making videos on what's going on in some of these places. And a lot of people are now getting on board and getting dealt with after Trump signed the executive order on banning men and women's sports. You know, but it's still these lunatics out here, man. It's common sense. It's not an 80-20 issue anymore. It's a 90-10 issue. And soon to be a 99-1 issue. I'm just saying, man. Men are not supposed to be in women's bathrooms, locker rooms. And we're seeing tons of these cases starting out with our kids. We have to protect our kids, our daughters, man. It's sick. You know, it really is. We just seen situations of the woman taking a knee. I'm not finna fight this man. The woman walking away, protesting. I'm not finna fight this man. The boy, you know, he's now a so-called woman now, but he couldn't win a gold in the men's division, so he can only win a gold in the women's division because he's more powerful. A man and a woman are different. I mean, common sense, man. But this is one thing the Democrats don't have: common sense. Too far left, too woke. Told everybody to stay woke.
You get to do certain things, and I got to.
I didn't even get a thank you.
I got on a.
I gave him $1 million twice. I didn't get a.
I got on a
Can I
Zoom.
just say thank you?
Thank you very much.
Yes. I got on a Zoom with Biden for like 10 minutes. So you can talk to Biden for 10 minutes alone. Like, okay, great, wow.
That was AI Biden. That was not Biden.
Yeah. Trust me, it wasn't AI Biden. But what I took away from that was that, oh, this guy is not the world's greatest public speaker, but I'm now getting why people like Lindsey Graham are defending him and saying, like, if you don't like Joe Biden, there's something wrong with you, which you can look it up. He did say, I'm paraphrasing because I've had 100 drinks, but but he did essentially say that, like, if you don't like Joe Biden as a person, there's something wrong with you. You need to look yourself in the mirror.
But there's a flip side, and here's the flip side. You can like Joe Biden, but hate Capitol Hill. As it has been for so many years. When you look at people, think about Trump. You ever watch Trump debate? This is why I was joking around and said I'd challenge him to a debate. What would I have to worry about? He doesn't say anything. He goes up against Democrats. It's going to be very, very good. It's going to be fabulous.
But they
watch. Wait and see. He hasn't said anything, right? And nobody on the Democratic side has, what is it? The pizzazz. I know you got the substance, but you've got a lot of people out there that are preoccupied with their own lives, and they want somebody that knows how to ingratiate
themselves. But that's what in debates is called a gish gallop.
Okay,
it's called a gish gallop.
I understand
it's
that,
when you disseminate so much bullshit. You're like Biff in Back to the Future, getting fucking dumped on by the manure truck.
But does it work?
If you think Trump doesn't say anything during a debate, you should see.
He's like, we're on CNN. Watch your language. And then he goes, oh, shit.
Well, now you tell me.
If you don't think Donald Trump says anything during debate, you should watch Steve Garvey.
In a debate, you can't defend yourself against an onslaught of lies and bullshit. Where you
I
have
just
to
said we're on CNN.
I'm on Fox. What's the difference?
I know, but we're not supposed to swear.
Really?
On CNN?
Yeah. CNN. They ought to shut CNN down. But it honestly was fun to go back and have a show like this today. I know I didn't want to make it too long, but it probably came out as a long show. But I wanted to hear what you guys got to say about all this. And again, it's really honestly great to kind of just go back every now and then. Some people say not really, Rick, but you know, for me, it really is, because this is my first time seeing this entire full clip, you know. And again, I was one of those ones that covered all these cases and everything that they're talking about when this was going on. You know, we covered the entire campaign. We covered all the lawsuits, the court cases, and what was going on when he walked out of court and had the paperwork. You know, the lady, she can't remember the time, date, or place of what so-called happened. I mean, it was just sad and pathetic. They can't tell us what the crime was. It's just complete shams. Kangaroos jumping at the intersection, kangaroos jumping at the stoplight, at the mailbox, banana peels all out on the floor. I thought I turned the traction control light off in the car. I was like, what the hell is going on in America? You slipping and sliding, back tire sliding, you down there hit the curb and have a little bit of curb rash, all the banana peels all out in the middle of the street. Yeah. All throughout the neighborhood. And I said, man, a disgrace, man, what we seen. But now we see where we're at right now after watching something like this. It's like, whew. Yeah. And we didn't just dodge a bullet. We dodged a nuclear missile with these Democrats and that lady. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. And then to see how Stephen A. Smith and Bill Maher are talking now and how they've changed their tone and how they have a lot of viral clips of praising Trump now that he's the 47th president. I tell y'all, man, make sure y'all hit that like button, share this video, comment down below. I cannot wait to read the comments. God bless you all and your family, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace and love, y'all.